Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to extend a special warm welcome to our academic staff, our honoured guests, and also most importantly, the first year and fourth year environmental health students. So this is an important day for all of you. Everyone, you may be seated. Thank you. So for those of you that do not know me, especially the first year environmental health students, my name is Ms. Hambury, and I'm one of the academic lecturers, and you'll be seeing me in the second semester. You'll also get introduced to your other lecturers that you'll see throughout your fourth year academic program. Today is quite a special day, and it's a very important day because you are actually making a pledge. So in other words, you are actually making a promise to yourselves, to the academic staff, to the university, and also to your colleagues when you're out there in the professional world. So in other words, you're actually making a commitment to your profession, to the university. So it actually sets the tone on how you need to conduct yourselves, and also the values that you need to uphold. And you also need to take into account the values of the university. So for those that do not know the values of the university, I'm just quickly going to explain it and just share it with you. So when you do your pledge, take into account those values as well. So the university's values are diversity, excellence, Ubuntu, which actually means humanity to others. So there's a saying, I am because we are. Having the spirit of solidarity, respect for one another, compassion, and because we as human beings, we interact with one another. And we are as a whole, and we share a special bond. So just let me emphasize that you as environmental health students, and when you become environmental health practitioners, you actually play an important role in your community because you are at the forefront of health and safety, and also you promote health and well-being within your communities as well. There's a lot that you need to learn, so as students, absorb as much knowledge as you can, as well as professionals when you're out there in the field as well. So without further ado, I'm just going to introduce our speaker, which is Prof. Soleka Sorji. And before I introduce, or before Prof. Soleka Sorji comes up and shares a message with you, I just want to just share a little bit of information about Prof. Sorji. Okay, so Prof. Soleka Sorji, she's actually the director of the School of Behavioral and Lifestyle Sciences within the Faculty of Health Sciences at the university. Her highest qualification is a Doctor of Philosophy in Social Development Professions, and she obtained this in 2013 here at the university. Prior to joining the academy, she worked at student counseling, and then at the University of Port Elizabeth, offering wellness interventions to university employees and coordinating mentorship programs as well. Her career span includes working in the NGO sector as a training manager and later as an employee wellness practitioner. She offered wellness services in automotive industry, and this is where she actually developed a passion for the wellness field. She has held academic leadership positions for more than 12 years. She is passionate about research, mentorship, and coaching as well, and she believes that these are key in unlocking the potential of others. Her research interests focus on leadership development, youth, and family resilience and wellness. She's a wife and a mother of 2 sons who she adores. Without further ado, Prof. Soleka Sorji.
I am shocked I was not expecting to be introduced because my role here is to welcome you all, not necessarily to be one of the speakers, but it's very kind of you to introduce me. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure for me to welcome you today. The program director has nicely set the tone because she's already indicated that this ceremony is as important as a student graduation. And you know that every year students look forward to walking across the stage. This is very important also in the life of any student, especially a student who is in a professional degree. It is a time whereby, as environmental health students, you will be making a public declaration, a promise. You're making a promise to adhere to the rules and values of the institution, the faculty, and those of your department. We are making a public declaration that at all times you will be guided by the ethical code of your discipline. You know the ethical code of your discipline. You are promising to dedicate yourselves to the professional life as well as dedicate your professional life to the service of humanity and to the protection of the environment and all the natural systems of which our health depends on. You see, we rely on you. We're facing all of the challenges that we see today as a result of issues of the environment. And when we speak about the environment, we're not only speaking about the physical environment, we speak about the natural environment as well. So you are key in unlocking the potential, especially not only for our country, globally as well. I'd like to acknowledge our deanery in faculty deanery in absentia, our very important people, most importantly, our guest speaker, Dr. Patrick Nodwele, on this side, welcome, say. Our Director of Learning and Teaching, Professor Annelien Kiat. Our Director of Research, Professor Paula Menarile. The man of the house today, our head of department. We are in your house, so I better be nice. The academic staff of the department, we will never be able to do all of this without the dedication of the academic staff members. It is because of the hard work that they put in that you're all sitting here today. So can you give them a huge round of applause? To our E-Tech guys, we acknowledge you as well, all of you. And most importantly, our VVIPs, students who will be taking the oath today, and your loved ones who might be watching online. We want to say congratulations. We want to say that you are very important to us. Please take this. It's a moment. It's a very special moment. I hope at the end of it you're going to take plenty and plenty of photos to remind yourself of this day. And we hope that you will enjoy this ceremony with us. We will hope that you are going, as you are taking a pledge, we're really hoping that you're going to remember each and every word that you will be pledging today, because it's going to be very, very important. Either as you're going out as a fourth-year student, when you eventually go out in the field, as well as a first-year student as you navigate your way through the system. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof. Soji, for that wonderful message. Our next speaker now is Dr. Patrick Nodwele. So before Dr. Patrick Nodwele comes up and shares his message, I just also want to just give a brief introduction and just introduce him as well. So Dr. Patrick Nodwele is a registered environmental health practitioner and practices under the authority of the Health Professions Council of South Africa. He graduated with a doctoral degree in environmental health here at the university in 2017. The focus of his doctoral study was on the human health aspects of exposure to ambient air pollution. Also, as part of his thesis, he developed guidelines for environmental health practitioners to use for assessment of human health exposure to environmental risks. He has 28 years of experience in the field of environmental health, so he's very knowledgeable within this field. He is involved in environmental health research and graduate mentoring as well. He's also an author of a book entitled The Principle of Environmental Health Science. He has worked internationally in Sweden in the field of environmental health and managed also international environmental health projects between the Nelson Mandela Bay University and the city in Sweden. His current position is the Deputy Director for Environmental Health in the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality. Thank you so much, Dr. Patrick McLeod.
Great, thank you so much, Selim, Professor Soji, and the team, Dr. Anglo, colleagues to me. Thank you for having me. I think you put correctly, it's a very, very important day. Because the issue of ethics in our profession, it's a long-term issue. You have to be guided by ethics from day one all the way until you retire. Why is it important? As much as you have the right to your trade as entrenched in the Constitution, you also have equally a responsibility, a moral responsibility towards others, and especially those who receive services from you. I just want to make it brief because I think this subject is so important that when you come to us for the looking at written learning, I think we need to touch on some of the aspects of the ethics. Ethics are very, very important. There are some core ethical values I just want to touch on for purposes of today. I was told I should not be longer than 10, 15 minutes. So I'll try to keep it short, but I'll make it as practical as possible for you. I'm going to use web-based examples to illustrate some of the aspects. Very important, the aspect of respect for others. Once you are in a government office, very often people think that they are high and mighty, and they can talk to people in any way they like. It's not like that. Remember, the people have got rights as well that are entrenched in the community, the Constitution. The reason is, if you work in government, the reason people install governments, we just did so not so long ago. The reason people install governments, it's because they want an organized body that's going to facilitate services that keep the community going. So you are in a government position because of that community. Okay? So you need to be respectful all the time to the members of the community. You will meet a variety of people in the field, from the CEOs of companies all the way to a poor guy that just requires services from environmental health. I'm going to give you examples. You always have to work in the best interest or well-being of your service recipient. For example, somebody comes to you, we issue a lot of authorizations as environmental health for various kinds of businesses, from small businesses all the way to the big businesses that you see as you drive around the city. When some of these organizations submit applications to you, they must give you detailed information about the industrial, the business process. And part of that information they give you will include trade secrets, stuff that should not be known by the competition or by somebody else. That will be in your possession. So what do you do when the opposition or the competitor to the applicant approaches you? Sometimes with big sums of money to get access to those records for purposes of their business competitiveness. How do you keep that information? Because it's important that such information, remember those people invest billions of rands in those businesses. There must be a way in which that information is kept in your department so that it's not easily accessible to anyone. You consider the issues of human rights all the time because people have rights, as I indicated earlier, when people approach you. Sometimes people approach you. We did a study in an area. I know when I mentioned some of these areas, I said I want to make it practical. We did a study. We looked at the air quality levels in this region. It's an industrial region in the city, and we discovered that the threshold for the common air pollutants has been reached. In other words, that section of town can no longer take new businesses, because if you take new businesses, you will be adding to the pollutants in the area. And some very important people who are associated with this company, come forward to say, look, that application must be approved, because behind that company there are important people. So what do you do in those instances? Do you give in to the pressure because important people are behind the application? Or do you consider that by adding this facility in this area, I will be adding to those common air pollutants? So there is a big chance that some people may get sick in this area because of my decision. So those are some of the considerations. The issues of autonomy for your service recipients, issues of self-determination. Some people, I'm giving you a variety of areas in which the community interfaces with you. Some people are so poor they cannot afford to bury their loved ones. Okay, it's a reality. They have to come to you as the environmental health practitioner because you are entrusted with a pauper burial in the city, pauper burial policies of the city. That somebody, when they get to your office, will they be treated with dignity, with care? In other words, when a person takes that decision, already they are vulnerable. They are in a vulnerable space. How do you treat them when they get to your office? That should be one of the things to consider. We had a lot of these applications during the COVID-19 episode. I think a lot of people were out of work. We had to process a lot of these people coming in to request. You must know that people are vulnerable when they approach government to bury their loved one. That's part of your responsibility. You have to be truthful as an environmental health practitioner in your operations. Issues of integrity are quite important. Have you seen some of the government officials being walked by the hawks chained to be arrested. That happens when you lose touch with the ethics. Remember, as an environmental health practitioner, you will register, I'm sure you are registered now with the Health Professions Council of South Africa as a student. Then you will be, what is the next stage? The ComServe, and then you will register independently as a full environmental health practitioner at some point. And government, if you happen to work for government, will employ you for purposes of discharging some of the responsibilities that government has on healthcare. So government gives you a lot of there's a lot of power that environmental health practitioners have and discretion. So you have to use that with a great deal of care, so that you don't cause harm in the process. You have to be honest to people. If something can be done, you have to say, yes, it can be done. If it cannot be done, you have to say, no, it cannot be done. For example, there's a lady, she stays not far from a church in one of the communities. The church plays loud, amplified music during the church services. So she's affected by the noise levels. She comes to the municipality for relief. We have to investigate. We took sound measurements, we took the ambient levels, we took the source levels, we did a community survey to check who else is affected by this in the community. And we discovered that the noise did not meet the threshold levels for the area. We had to call her in to say, look, we have investigated this objectively. We have used objective instrument measurements. We have done surveys in the community. The noise generated here does not reach the thresholds. So we cannot investigate this matter further. Obviously, she will not feel good, but at least you are honest with her. You don't keep promising the person that something will be done when it cannot be done. You have to be honest. Issues of confidentiality. People will, as I indicated earlier, give you a lot of information. I had this instance where in one of these retail outlets, one of the employees called us. He was complaining about the hygiene conditions in the establishment. Obviously, his name will be in the documents that you carry because he's the complainant. He didn't indicate that at the time of complaining he was an employee in the facility. So issues of confidentiality are quite important. When you reach the facility to investigate, you cannot disclose these documents to the management because you're putting that person in a lot of risk. You have to keep things confidential. Sometimes people do ask for, in terms of the Promotion of Access to Information Act, they do request in writing government to give them information. In the case of local government, the municipal manager is the information officer. So they must write to the municipal manager and say, we want the files on the license that was issued by this so and so to company Z on this date. It's up to the municipality now, the municipal manager and the legal department to weigh, because remember, by issuing this information, there is a big chance that you'll be infringing on the rights of the person that gave you the information. So they will do those checks and balances and then make a decision to say to the applicant, no, you're not getting the information, or yes, you are getting the information. Okay? So there's quite a lot issues of combustion. Some people in the community complain about very significant matters, groundbreaking matters. Some people in the community complain about the droppings from the dog of the neighbor. Okay? Some people complain about that. You have to treat each complaint with compassion. You cannot show to this person that, look, this is minor. You can't do that. Because to this person, what you consider as a minor, to them it may be a major. Okay? And the issues of tolerance. In the city, we have a lot of these spaza shops, for example, that are run by the foreign nationals mainly. We don't have the same hygiene standards. You are a family health practitioners. I'm going to use these examples. These shops, as you know, are quite small. They are, in most instances, attached to a house. Some people in their culture don't use the toilets that we are used to. So we went to this facility, we find this pit sand, or the sand pit. We're asking this guy, what's happening here? Oh, these are my ablutions. Is this sand pit? It's the bread here and other goods. Okay? What will you say to this guy about ablutions? Are you going to force your way of life to this person? Because it's not that he's not aware that there are flashy toilets to use. He's fully aware, but in his culture, this is how things are done. So there are those checks and balances that affect ethics. Issues of justice in decision making. You will make a lot of decisions in your career. Decisions about authorizations, decisions about inspections that you will do, decisions about sampling, monitoring, whether it's sampling of the air, whether it's water, whether it's food. You will have to make a lot of decisions. So there has to be a justice in your decisions. For example, somebody sells cologne. These products are consumed by a lot of people, especially children, in their large boxes. So you take this product and you send it for analysis, and you discover that the colorants, the preservatives, etc., are way beyond the threshold. And the persons come to you and say, look, for a small amount, can you look the other way? this was just a once-off mistake. It will never happen. So what do you do in those instances? There are these small cases, but they are bigger cases. I remember before there was drought in the Nelson Mandela Bay, there was drought in the Southern Cape, there was drought in the city of Cape Town, and then it was us. That's so there's a developer in the Southern Cape, and they want to develop this expensive, these private dwelling units in this prime land. And unfortunately, it's drought, as I said, and there's an aquifer or an underground water channel that feeds the boreholes that the government has built to mitigate the drought in the area. So by this development going through, it means those aquifers will be cut. The water supply to the community will be in short supply. So in other words, the augmentation will not work. And you give these reasons to the person why this development cannot be approved. And then they give you the plans for the finished product. And then they show you one of the units right next to the sea. So look, if this goes through, if this goes through, we can give that one to you. You will register it in your name. You will just move in. It will be fully furnished. Decisions. So you will have to make those decisions. It's hard. Remember with the drought, if I can get a little bit into the implications of the drought on human health. Remember with the drought, for your water catchment areas, the volumes are falling. And the water is closer and closer to the sediment. What's in the sediment? In the sediment, there are chemical substances, organic material, etc., which means when you have drought, the quality of drinking water decreases. So on top of that, you are cutting this aquifer that would have supplied the borehole for augmentation. In other words, you're worsening the crisis of the community. For a unit you can get for free, right at the corner, not far from the sea. It's a walking distance, and you look at the plans and you can already see yourself walking in and out of this facility. Those are some of the ethical decisions you have to make in your career. The issue of professional competence and self-improvement basically relates to your continuous professional development. Okay, you can't qualify in 2024. Remember, the body of knowledge in the field increases all the time. So you have to keep up. You can't qualify in 2024 and then you don't keep yourself up to date. In fact, it's a legal requirement, the issue of continuous professional development. And at some point, what was that unit? Not the ox, scorpions. I'm not sure what happened, but they swept through the city. They started at the Life St. George's Hospital, picked up a few medical doctors there, and then they came down to where we are at the city center. They swept through some doctors' premises, and then they stopped in our building. Guess what? They got 7 of our colleagues. Issues of professional registration, people did not renew their professional registration, and they were not up to date with their So there was quite a big case. So the municipality now must make a decision because it's a risk to the employer to hire somebody that is not professionally registered, or to keep someone in the employ who does not keep up to date with their continuous professional development. So other than being a risk to yourself, you are also a risk to the employer. So the municipal manager had to make decisions to put these guys on leave until such time you sort your matters out. So these issues are quite important because I don't have time. I think I need to stop here. You must remember, as an health practitioner, some of the media that you look at can affect a lot of people on a big scale. Give you an example: water. We test drinking water on a weekly basis in the city. There are about 40 or so chemicals that we look at in your drinking water, also about 7 or 8 physical and microbiological stuff that we look at on a weekly basis. And if you take a sample, for example, in Colchester on a Monday, and on that Monday you are running late because of the happenings over the weekend, and you decide, you know what, let me just take this in my own house. Okay, you take the sample in your own house, and then you submit to the laboratory. What that means is, for that week, we actually don't know the quality of drinking water that people use in that community because of your decision. So ethical decisions, colleagues, very important, and they form part of your work life. Right, true. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ndwele, for that insightful knowledge, and also for explaining to the students some of the common core ethical principles, and also some of the ethical dilemmas that they may face within their working environment. So thank you so much for that. Next on the program, most importantly, we will be doing the pledge. So first, we'll be doing the pledge with the first year students. And Mr. Willem will lead the speech. So what will happen is I'll ask Mr. Willem to come forward, and then he'll ask the first year students to stand, and then he'll read the pledge paragraph by paragraph, and then you'll recite it after him. So please, when we say these words, when we read your pledge, please let the words resonate with you. Let it resonate in your minds and in your hearts. Because you are important, and you are going to be environmental health practitioners, and just please note that these words are very important, so carry it throughout your academic studying and also within your career. Okay. I'll ask Mr. Willem to come forward, that will lead the page.
Thank you, Satan. 28 years, that's a long time. One of my first students, proud of this institution, that I was just speaking to you. One that has got a lot of speed. I remember on one of our educational tours, Dr. Ndwele was still a youngster, myself as well. That's rugby. Surprised with the tremendous speed that he outran many of us on that day. Recall? Well, guest speakers, colleagues, now to the honorable people. And that is our students. our first year students, ethical conduct that we discussed in GOB 111, not 3, quite a lot during this year. That's now the time to start putting it together as a professional. Can we rise as the first year group? Guys, what I'm going to do is, I think it was explained, I will read and then you will repeat after me. In the presence of family, friends, educators and colleagues, I, state your name, take this pledge as an environmental health student within the health science faculty. I pledge to uphold the university and faculty's values as I embark on developing myself into a professional in service of society.
In the presence of family, friends, educators, and colleagues, I, as an environmental health student within the health science faculty, I pledge to uphold the university and faculty's values as I embark on developing myself into a professional in service of society.
In my pursuit to becoming an excellent environmental health professional, I promise to uphold the values embraced by Nelson Mandela University: integrity, excellence, Ubuntu, diversity, environmental stewardship, and social justice and equality in pursuing my studies and professional objectives.
In my pursuit to becoming an excellent environmental health professional, I promise to uphold the values embraced by Nelson Mandela University: integrity, excellence, Ubuntu, diversity, environmental stewardship, and social justice and equality in pursuing my studies and professional objectives.
As an environmental health student, I will uphold the rules of conduct related to the profession of environmental health as outlined by the Professional Board for Environmental Health Practitioners under the auspices of the Health Professionals Council of South Africa. I will aim to understand and respect my academic and personal responsibilities, my freedom of expression, my duty to serve others, and to protect the environment that I share with others.
As an environmental health student, I will uphold the rules of conduct related to the profession of environmental health as outlined by the Professional Board for Environmental Health Practitioners under the auspices of the Health Professionals Council of South Africa. I will aim to understand and respect my academic and personal responsibilities, my freedom of expression, my duty to serve others, and to protect the environment that I share with others.
I will strive to be a reflective student, using every opportunity presented to develop in my profession. I will honor those who teach and mentor me, as well as those who guide my practical skill development. I will continuously embark on learning with gratitude and humility. In this, I will not be swayed by greed, prejudice, or selfish ego in the practice of my profession.
I will strive to be a reflective student, using every opportunity presented to develop in my profession. I will honor those who teach and mentor me, as well as those who guide my practical skill development. I will continuously embark on learning with gratitude and humility. In this, I will not be swayed by greed, prejudice, or selfish ego in the practice of my profession.
I will respect the community within which I learn and present myself with the integrity that is demonstrable for an environmental health student. I will pursue excellence in my studies and profession and will share my knowledge with future colleagues and all who are in want or need of it.
I will respect the communities within which I learn and present myself with the integrity that is demonstrable for an environmental health student. I will pursue excellence in my studies and profession and will share my knowledge with future colleagues and all who are in want or need of it.
scared the trust of the public and communities that I will serve and ensure the confidentiality and related information at my disposal. Finally, I will do all in my power to help those I serve reach physical, mental, and spiritual health, and I will strive for the balance in my own life.
I will also safeguard the trust of the public and communities that I will serve and relate the confidentiality and related information at my disposal. Finally, I will do all in my power to help those I serve reach physical, mental, and spiritual health, and I will strive for this balance in my own life.
May I always have the courage and character to hold these principles dear from this day forward as I place myself into the service of humankind. The pledge oath I make solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
May I always have the courage and character to hold these principles sacred from this day forward as I place myself into the service of humankind. This pledge, O Lord, I make solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
Thank you, First Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so next, Cheryl Sonneborn will lead the pledge of the fourth-year students. And in the same way, Mrs. Sonneborn will ask you to stand and then she'll read the pledge and you'll recite it after. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, all of you will stand for the pledge. In the presence of family, friends, educators and colleagues, I, put your name, take this pledge as an environmental health student within the health sciences faculty. I pledge to uphold the university and faculty's values as I embark on developing myself into a professional in service of society.
In the presence of family, friends, educators, and colleagues, I, as an faculty, take this pledge as an environmental health student within the health sciences faculty. I pledge to uphold the university and faculty's values as I embark on developing myself into a professional in service of society.
In my pursuit to becoming an excellent environmental health professional, I promise to uphold the values embraced by Nelson Mandela University: integrity, excellence, Ubuntu, diversity, environmental stewardship, and social justice and equality in pursuing my studies and professional objectives.
In my pursuit to becoming an excellent environmental health professional, I promise to uphold the values embraced by Nelson Mandela University: integrity, excellence, Ubuntu, diversity, environmental stewardship, and social justice and equality in pursuing my studies and professional objectives.
As an environmental health student, I will uphold the rules of conduct related to the profession of environmental health as outlined by the Professional Board for Environmental Health Practitioners under the auspices of the Health Professions Council of South Africa.
As an environmental health student, I will uphold the rules of conduct related to the profession of environmental health as outlined by the Professional Board for Environmental Health Practitioners under the auspices of the Health Professions Council of South Africa.
I will aim to understand and respect my academic and personal responsibilities, my freedom of expression, my duty to serve others, and to protect the environment that I share with others.
I will aim to understand and respect my academic and personal responsibilities, my freedom of expression, my duty to serve others, and to protect the environment that I share with others.
I will strive to be a reflective student, using every opportunity presented to develop in my profession.
I will strive to be a reflective student, using every opportunity presented to develop in my profession.
I will honor those who teach and mentor me, as well as those who guide my practical skills development.
I will honor those who teach and mentor me, as well as those who guide my
I will continuously embark on learning with gratitude and humility. In this, I will not be swayed by greed, prejudice, or selfish ego in the practice of my profession.
I will continuously embark on learning with gratitude and humility. In this, I will not be swayed by greed, prejudice, or selfish ego in the practice of my profession.
I will respect the communities within which I learn and present myself with the integrity that is demonstrable for an environmental health student.
I will respect the communities within which I learn and present myself with the integrity that is demonstrable for an environmental health student.
I will pursue excellence in my studies and profession and will share my knowledge with future colleagues and all who are in want or need of it.
I will pursue excellence in my studies and profession and will share my knowledge with future colleagues and all who are in need of it.
I will hold sacred the trust of the public and communities that I will serve and revere the confidentiality and related information at my disposal.
I will hold sacred the trust of the public and communities that I serve and revere the confidentiality and related information at my disposal.
Finally, I will do all in my power to help those I serve reach physical, mental, and spiritual health, and I will strive for this balance in my own life.
Finally, I will do all in my power to help those I serve reach physical, mental, and spiritual health, and I will strive for this balance in my own life.
May I always have the courage and character to hold these principles sacred from this day forward as I place myself into the service of humankind. This pledge, oath, I make solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
May I always have the courage and character to hold these principles sacred from this day forward as I place myself into the service of humankind. This pledge, oath, I make solemnly, freely, and upon my honor.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll now call upon our leader, Dr. Sean Rumble, who is our HOT to come and do the vote. Thanks.
Thanks, Lou. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Did you not have breakfast this morning? That's just a note. I've got an important task to thank a few people today. I think I want to firstly thank yourselves for actually being here. You are now inaugurated MPs. So you need to take your pledge seriously, and I want to say thank you very much for actually finding the time to come here today. This is an important day. There is no order of importance. I think the next person that I would like to say thanks very much to is Dr. Patrick. Patrick, thank you for finding the time to come and give this inspiring talk about ethics. And what Patrick has mentioned to you all are real life situations. Real life situations. Thank you so much, Patrick, for coming and sharing that with us. We've just got a small token of appreciation from the department for you. Just to say thank you so much, Patrick. Thereafter, I want to say a big thank you to the very busy people of our institution, my three directors, Prof. Soji, Prof. Keith, Prof. Paula. Thank you very much for finding the time to be with us. We really appreciate it. It's an important day for our students, and we really want to say thank you very much for that. Then to my family in PE, the staff, thank you very much for being here and all the hard work in putting this function together. Sedlin, for being our MC, you've done an excellent job. Thank you very much. And also to someone very special is Pulza, our intern. I think we don't appreciate her that much, and sometimes I think we kind of abuse you. I want to say thank you very much, Pulza. I know it's your last month with us, but the enthusiasm that you've got and all the assistance you've given us, we really appreciate that. Then lastly, to Philip and his team. Philip, I think you do not go unnoticed. You're always around, you're always there to assist us, and I hope we can get some good pics and a good video for our lady down there who's our marketing expert and our content person. Okay, thank you very much, Philip, and the team. And lastly, Prof, if you didn't know, the CEO of the department, she's officially our CEO, Tembi. I think without Tembi, nothing happens. Tembi, thank you very much. I know with all your problems you've had and not being around for a certain period of time to deal with them, you still found the time to actually put this event together. From the venues to get Philip, also the eats, the gift for Patrick. I think I want to say thank you very, very much for that. And not to mention also getting our gowns, making sure it's in our offices, these small little things. If you don't have someone like Tembi, an event doesn't take place. Tembi, thank you so, so much. I think I have thanked everybody. And Madam Director, is there anything else that we need to do? That's all. Okay, so with those few words, have a good day further. And I think there are some eats for you all to take with and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much.